Hey guys, I'm here with a highly requested video. So today I'm going to walk you through my inventory and my photographing process and what I do like every day. So I'm going to go through that, and then after that I'm going to do the Q&A video that I promised you guys that I would do. Basically what happened was my camera kind of like took a shit, and my charger cord to charge it got chewed by Harley, but I managed to charge it in the car, and I found a car charger that would fit in the camera. So I'm back. So yeah, let's go through my photographing process and my inventory process and show you guys basically how I store my stuff and how I stay organized with shipping and listing. Okay, so I use this backdrop and I just place it on the floor. This backdrop is off Amazon and it's by Ella Bella. They have like different types of paper backdrops. That's my little plant that you guys probably see in every photo. I also have a couple other props that I use. I use this fur rug that I used to use that as the regular backdrop. Oh, excuse me, I have to sneeze. Sorry. Okay, so the fur backdrop, I used to use that, and then I don't know if you guys remember, I used to have like a orange runner carpet that went across it. I stopped using that because the orange was just a little too much and some colors just weren't matching, so I needed something a little bit more neutral. I also seen a couple other people doing this, guys. Please don't do that. This is what I like to do, so you guys need to find your own thing. But definitely the backdrops, I mean, come on, everybody uses those, so that's fine. But like prop-wise and like, you know, the way you position things, you gotta find your own feel and what works for you. This is what works for me. So I lay my photo going this way, so it's on some wood and then it's on some white. That way I'm giving two different color contrasts for the photo. And then I like to add like something like this green plant because the green kind of gives it like a little pop of color. I also have these two lights. One's right there and the other guy's right there. These also are from Amazon and they're by Lime Studio. They do sell kits between $50 to $80, so not too expensive. Definitely like a major investment. I've had these things for over a year and they still work great. I also have the softbox ones, but I feel like those ones just give a little bit too much light. Dead in front of me, that is where I keep my shoes. Don't mind the mess over there in the corner. That's Manny's skateboards. And that box is from something that I think I got offline and I just haven't got rid of it yet. Okay, so as far as inventory goes, right now I am storing my inventory in these boxes, well, these plastic bins. I know you guys are going to tell me like you should definitely get a shelf to put them on, but right now that's not really a necessity for me, and I'm living in a tiny one-bedroom apartment and I just don't feel like having like shelves like against the wall right now. That's something I'm going to invest in once we upgrade to a bigger place that I can have a full room dedicated to all of my Poshmark stuff. So what I do is I have these numbered, and this one's backwards. This is from 1 to 20 and then 21 to 40, 41 to 60. I think you get the hint. So every single box here can fit 20 items in it. So this you're looking at is about 500 pieces of inventory fit in all these boxes. So what I do is when I am about to pull something, I print the label, and on the label I will write what the item is and the number assigned to it, which whatever item number is assigned, I put it in the description. If you guys look at my listings, you'll see like 2 semicolons and then a number, and that's the inventory number. And then what I'll do is I'll come over here and I'll pull it. Like let's say 110 sold. So I'll go to 110, which is all the way down there. See, that's 101 to 120. So I know 110 is in that bin. And I'll pull it out. And it just so happens to be right here. So let's say this item sold. I will pull this item out of the bag, pack it up to ship it, and then I'll save this bag, and I'll have a pile of empty bags with numbers on them. Then I'll list new items and assign them one of these numbers again, and then put them back and replace the inventory. So this bin right here, this is filled with everything that I just listed between the last 2 days. So tonight I definitely need to put this inventory away. But as you can see, you know, I have 021, 310. So these are just reused numbers. And I like this system because, hold on, let me turn you guys around. Okay, so I like this system that I use right now because it's not wasteful. I stay organized. It's very easy. Like, it is so easy. I don't know why I didn't do this any sooner. I mean, I guess if you only have about 200 items, it's okay to organize your inventory, like in sections like shirts, jeans, jackets, sweaters, etc. That's what I used to do, but now that I have more inventory, I feel like that's just too much, because what was happening is every time I sold a shirt, I had about like 7 bins for shirts. So I had to dig through every single one of those bins to find that shirt. Whereas this system, I just find the number and I know where it's at. So shipping is like a breeze. Like, it only takes me probably about a half hour to pull all my stuff, pack it up, and get to the post office. So it's so much easier. So if you guys are looking for like an easy, effective inventory system, then I would definitely recommend using the one that I use. So that is basically my entire process with photographing and my listing inventory. So now let's get everything set up and I'll do that Q&A for you guys. Okay, so I asked you guys on Instagram what questions that you had. I know this is like so long ago, so hopefully you guys didn't have it answered already. I'm so sorry. And also the background, I have nothing else to use as a background, so I mean, inventory bins, I guess that works. So I'm just going to go through all your guys' questions here on Instagram and answer them for you. So the first question is, have you ever tried Depop? If so, what is your opinion on it? Also, any tips for getting back into Poshmark when you're unmotivated? I did try Depop. I made one sale. I didn't necessarily like it. I felt like it was kind of hard to get your items like noticed, and I don't know, it's just not for me. My mom sells on Depop and she kills it, so I mean, I guess it's still a good platform for certain people, and I felt like it was good for like vintage and really strange one-of-a-kind items. And since I sell more of like brand name clothes, I felt like it didn't really fit in with the mix. For getting motivated on Poshmark, that's a tough one. I feel like you kind of have to stay motivated, because once you lose that motivation and go into like a rut, it can take a couple of days to like get back into the swing of things. I think listing consistently and sharing all the time consistently keeps you from getting to that point. Next question, what's a reasonable percentage to invest on sourcing, supplies, etc.? I've only been doing this for a couple months, but I find that I'm spending almost 100% on inventory, but I'm thinking that could be normal at first. That's totally normal. I honestly didn't invest any of my own money into it. I started selling things from around the house at first and then using that money. But I was working when I first started, so I would just take everything that I made from selling and just reinvest the whole thing until I got to the point where I was making more money that I could take, you know, like a little bit. I think now I probably reinvest, I'd say maybe like 25 to 30% of my stuff back into selling. How much of the profit are we supposed to be putting away? As soon as I sell $50 in profit, I feel like I go sourcing and I hit a slump and I'm stuck with tons of crap not moving. Welcome. That's how it works at first. I feel like it takes a long time to get to the point where you can actually keep the money. What I do now is I pay myself every week. So I'll do like a payout from Poshmark every single Thursday. That way I get the money on Friday. So it's kind of like a payday. I pay all my bills, blah, blah, blah. And whatever's left, if I have enough money to put it in a savings, I will. If not, the whole thing, whatever's left gets reinvested at this point. And I think being a full-time reseller your first year, it's going to be like that. I've been doing this for a year, and I feel like I'm now just starting to be able to save money and spend money on other things besides my business. Glad you decided to jump back in it. Thank you. Let me see here. Okay, so that's not a question, but thanks. Pricing. How do you figure out how to price items? There's different ways that you can price your items. You can go by solds. You can go by other people's listings, or you can do it what you personally feel is a good price. I tend to do all three. I think it depends on the item. If it's like a super sought after item, then you can price it high. If it's just like a typical item, then I feel like you should probably look at solds. It's kind of your own preference. I feel like that a lot of people do that stuff so differently, and I see like people arguing about how you should price items, and I feel like you should just do whatever you feel in your gut that you should do, because you have to think about how much time and effort you put into sourcing, photographing, listing. It's a lot of time, so pricing too low can cost you money. Next question, you're sourcing and you see a brand you don't know. How do you decide it's a brand you could resell? What research do you do to find it, or do you just stick to brands that you know? That's a good question. Typically, if I'm in the thrift store and I see something that I'm like, wow, it's really cute, but what the hell brand is this? I Google it, and then I see, wow, if it's like, you know, if the brand sells for, you know, $100 or more brand new, I'll definitely take it. If it's cute, I'll take it, but if I see that it's like, you know, some brand that, you know, they sell at like Kohl's or, I don't know, Burlington. I found a lot of cute things, and I saw that they sell on Burlington for like next to nothing. I usually leave those behind. Tips on finding and identifying vintage pieces. That's a tough one. I've been reselling vintage for years, so I feel like when I find it, I just can tell that it's vintage by the tag and also the style of it. Another thing is materials. A lot of vintage stuff is made out of like wool and polyester, but definitely the tags. I wish I had like an example right here to show you guys, but the tag will be like a lot thicker and the writing on it will be bigger. You'll see like lot number. That's definitely a sign that it's vintage. If I could find the website, there is a really good website that gives you tips on identifying like the year and stuff for vintage pieces. If I can find it, I'll link it below. Do you wash your thrift store finds, the ones without tags? No, I don't. I'm sorry, if I washed every single thing that I brought home, I'd be broke, for one, because I don't have a washer and dryer here. I have to pay to do laundry. And if it's stinky and it smells and looks dirty, I don't even grab it. Also, another thing you guys should know, if you're located in Pennsylvania, it's actually by law that Pennsylvania thrift stores have to disinfect and spray their items down. So we don't have to worry about things like bed bugs and nasty stuff like that. I think that's why Pennsylvania thrift stores have like a certain smell to their clothes, because they spray it with stuff. Should you focus only one area, women, men, shoes, hard goods, etc.? I don't think so. I think if you want to go out and try new things, you should. I stick to women because that's what I like. I don't enjoy looking at kids' clothes and men's clothes. I also don't really enjoy looking at hard goods unless it's going in my own apartment for decoration. I do sell shoes though. How long do you leave something listed at your set price before you decide to mark down? Sometimes I struggle with getting impatient, wanting to get rid of it, and wondering if I may be marking down too fast. Thank you. That's something that I also struggled with. I was like marking things down like after an hour. I'd get like 20 likes on something, and I'd be like, ooh, 20 people want this. Like, here, take it, $10. But don't do that. That's leaving money on the table. So now I wait. Sometimes I wait about a month before I discount, sometimes a week. I think it depends on how many likes I have on the item. But definitely wait at least, I feel like you should wait at least a week before discounting. Have you ever tried selling on Mercari? What are your thoughts on it? I actually did sell on Mercari a while back. It was okay, but I felt like it was hard for things to sell on there for me. Like things were getting lost in the feed. I felt like you have to like keep relisting the same thing or something. I don't know. I didn't really understand it. How's your inventory organized? Well, we just went through the tutorial. What brands do you avoid? Any tips on selling kids clothing, your pricing strategy, mistakes to avoid while sourcing and listing? Brands that I avoid, Vince Camuto. I hate Vince Camuto. Every time I pick it up, I feel like, ooh, Vince Camuto, and then it sits forever and doesn't sell. That brand I hate. Any tips on selling kids clothing? The only kids clothing that I've ever sold is vintage, so I'm not sure. Pricing strategy, I think I mentioned this already. I just kind of like wing it. Mistakes to avoid while sourcing and listing. Mistakes to avoid while sourcing, don't get too excited over something. Make sure you inspect the item. Also, I've noticed that you're going to a thrift store and you're not finding shit, so you settle for like semi stuff. That I struggle with. Don't do that. If it's not going to make you money, just leave it behind. If you're not finding anything, just leave, go to the next one. Do you think it's necessary to include measurements in every listing on Poshmark? Someone said if you do, it helps with sales, but sales? Sorry. But like if it's a size small shirt, it's a size small shirt. Does it really need measurements too? Absolutely, because certain brands can run differently. A small in one brand can be a medium in another brand for some people. Always include measurements, because what's going to happen, this has happened to me, the stuff that you forget to put measurements on is the stuff that you get about 5 to 6 people messaging you asking for measurements. And sometimes I don't get around to it because I don't have time. So yes, always include measurements in your listing. It definitely increases sales and it just helps overall. What is something you would have done differently when you first started reselling now that you've been doing it for a while? My inventory system. This thing is a lifesaver. Like seriously, I don't have to spend hours shipping every day. I used to spend like 3 hours shipping. Now it's like a half hour to an hour tops. I'd love a beginners on what brands to look for in thrifting, which takes more fees, eBay or Posh. How do you package your items for Posh, like wrapping paper, cards, gifts, etc.? Okay. That's really hard to say with brands because it depends on your area of where you live. I feel like you kind of have to like scope out your thrift stores and look at what brands are popping out the most and then researching those brands to see how much they're selling for. I find a lot of Anthropologie and J. Crew in my area, so those are brands that I tend to stick to, which takes more fees. eBay only takes 10% and Poshmark takes 20%, but I don't sell on eBay anymore. I mean, I have like a couple listings on there that I'm just waiting for them to either expire or sell, but Poshmark takes the fee right away, so you can get an honest feel for how much money you're actually making. I feel like eBay is just like annoying because they charge you every month your final value fees, and I'm just not a fan of that. I package my items really simple. I use clear poly mailers, and I put the item in there, and then I stick a thank you sticker on it, and then I stick it in like a decorative poly mailer. And that's it. I don't do free gifts. I used to, but it's just like, it's unnecessary. You don't need a free gift to get a 5-star rating. What is better for sourcing, traditional Goodwill or the bins, the outlet center? I used to be strictly bins, but now I'm strictly regular Goodwill. It's weird how things like change. Like my strategy before used to be like buy things for as cheap as possible and then sell them very quickly, but now I feel like I'm looking more for quality and making more money off those things. The bins, The only reason I turned this is because my bins got so oversaturated with resellers. Like, I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if it's my fault, but a lot of people now go to my bins and it's insane. Like, I mean insane. When they change the bin, I can't even like get in there. It's so crowded. And it just got so dirty too. Like, all the shit that they sell in the bins is fucking shit. It's like stained up stuff, ripped stuff. Every haul that I was doing, I was getting home and then I was about to photograph and list everything, and everything had stains and rips on it, and it was, I was wasting money at that point. So I just started going to regular thrift stores, and I'm like, you know, this is great because I'm finding more stuff that's like new with tags and better quality, not, you know, crappy stuff. So that's my opinion. I feel, you know, there's some like really great sellers out there that go to the bins, like Nicole State and some other people, and they find like really great stuff. And I'm jealous because I miss that. My bins used to be so awesome, but it's over flooded. So I guess that happens. Okay, this is the last question. When posting, should I not list every day on one day? Like, if I have 50 pieces, should I spread them out over the week or something? Yes, you should definitely spread them out. I feel like listing consistently on Poshmark does help. I know others said that it didn't, but in my opinion it did, because just recently, this is a good example, I went on vacation and I didn't list for 4 days, and I had 2 days this week of 0 sales, and I was sharing consistently. So I think something with what's that word? What's that word? I can't think of the word. Oglithium? Oh my god. Whatever. Whatever. Oh my god. I feel like a dumbass. I don't know what that word is, but anyways, I think listing consistently grabs more attention on Poshmark. That's what I believe. So, could be wrong. I don't know. But that was the end of the questions. I was going to discontinue having comments on my videos because I've been getting a lot of serious hate comments on my videos lately. And I don't know what the hell, what did I do, or why people are reacting this way. But fuck them. Like, whatever, you know, I'm putting this content out for you guys, and take it, whatever you want to do with it, use it. At the end of the day, I am just a girl that sells clothes online for a living. That's it. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, whatever. If you're not already following me on Instagram, I'll link that too, because I'm more active on there. Sometimes making YouTube videos can be so time consuming, and I tend to slack on them. So sorry. I try. I would try. But yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend. Today is Friday. And get to listing. Bye.